morning.
Good morning. Everyone will listen, please. Understand that you have the right to plead not guilty. Understand that if you plead guilty, you'll be waiving your right to a jury trial and to other rights I just spoke about. Also understand that if you're not a legal U.S. citizen, that taking this plea could possibly affect your immigration status. Ms. Haynes?
Yeah,
You are pleading guilty to resisting arrest, is that correct?
I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty.
Okay.
No, I'm not guilty.
State ready for trial.
We'll have a hearing.
She parked on a departing level, left her car unattended, went inside, used the restroom, went to the TSA security checkpoint, walked by without being screened.
How did that happen, if you don't mind?
She went to an area that was closed, and she kind of shimmied by without them seeing her.
Okay.
And she walked down to gate B5 and boarded an aircraft, and that's when she was noticed.
How did she shimmy by without them seeing her? Officer, you've reviewed the video of this, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Keep going, please.
It was an unmanned area that she went to,
Okay.
and she went by without anybody seeing her.
Gotcha. All right, what happened next?
She went down to gate B5, which belongs to Delta Airlines,
Okay.
and she walked past a representative, and the representative wasn't sure if she had gotten off the plane.
Yeah, tell us about that. Why would that representative not have been sure?
Because it was a connecting flight, so
Okay.
they allowed some people to get off and some people to get back on. And she walked by, so he wasn't sure, so he checked her, and she didn't have any ID or a boarding pass.
All right, and was she on the plane at that point?
At that time, she was on the plane.
Okay, and how did you become involved in the case?
They called us because she would not provide any ID or a boarding pass, so
Okay.
that's when we were called.
All right, and what did you do once you were called?
We boarded the plane. We asked her to present ID or a boarding pass, and she couldn't. And after asking her several times to provide a boarding pass or an ID, she couldn't come up with anything.
Okay, and what did she say to you once you asked her for those things?
She stated that her faith and her name was her boarding pass or her ID to be on the plane.
Okay, and so in response to that, what did you do next?
We asked her again to leave the plane, willingly, and she wouldn't, so we had to forcefully remove her.
Okay, and she was taken in custody at that time?
Yes.
Did she say anything else to you that might be important for the court to know?
She told us that she was trying to go see her husband.
My client, Ms. Haynes, is here, and she's allegedly being charged with violating airport security. However, from all the testimony that we heard here today, there was nothing that Ms. Haynes did that violated security. Admittedly, she did get on a plane and not have a ticket. However, she was, it didn't sound like, asked for any identification until she was already on the plane. Now, in order to violate airport security, it sounds like Ms. Haynes would have had to violate a federal regulation that is in place. And from TSA's regulations, while it is required to have a government ID, if you do not have a government ID, you may still board a plane if you are asked several questions by TSA members. It's not a definitive, you must have a government ID. It is, government ID is preferable. If you do not have a government ID, there are other ways that they can verify who you are and still allow you to board a plane.
We haven't heard testimony from TSA, Your Honor, because no one from TSA spoke with Ms. Haynes. I believe that's what's uncontroverted about this and precisely the crux of the issue. The testimony the court heard was that Ms. Haynes went through a gated-off, closed area that wasn't being manned by security, snuck through, I guess, what was apparently a metal detector of some kind that was not turned on, and then proceeded down the gate and boarded a plane, Judge. And with all due respect to Mr. Bierman, at its very most basic level, the defense's argument just doesn't even pass the smell test for them to say that someone can bypass a closed area of security in an airport, of all places, in March of 2016, and not have to show identification and then board a plane without a ticket. The statute, Your Honor, says that it's illegal for a person to knowingly trespass or unlawfully enter upon an aircraft and some other places that don't apply to here if that person is in violation or that entry is contrary to the security requirements established by federal regulation. Now, I know of no federal regulation at all that allows for a person to not have to identify themselves or even make contact with a TSA agent before they get on an airplane without a ticket. And so I respectfully request the court bind this case over to the grand jury as well as a resisting charge, which I submit has been more than met by probable cause. Respectfully ask the court to bind it over.